another video feature of the Immersive World's Handbook. I am back in Singapore, and you can probably barely see me, but you can see the amazing aquarium space behind me. So I'm part of the, I'm here visiting part of the Sentosa Resort's island complex, and as you can see, we have behind me the S.E.A Aquarium. And the S.E.A Aquarium is one of these really immersive spaces that let you get up close and personal with all the sea life. So I want to take you through the many spaces of the S.E.A Aquarium and also the experiential maritime museum. And I had a chance during my visit to S.E.A Aquarium to record quite a bit of on-site commentary, so I want to let that just play for itself. I am sharing here some of the initial images that you see. Again, very dramatic in an immersive sense because you have this sense of scale in terms of the various aquaria that you see throughout the space of S.E.A Aquarium. And I mentioned later too that, like the Monterey Bay Aquarium, when you see the dramatic and colorful nature of the jellyfish, these sea creatures themselves also provide for their own sense of immersive appeal. And I think in particular, when they use color here in some of these next few displays, they've really hit it on the mark in terms of creating something that is so aesthetically pleasing for the guest. And I think certainly we shouldn't assume that just because you have amazing sea life, like the many you see in the videos here, that it's an easy task to create a themed and immersive space. And certainly we can think of failures of zoos and other aquaria in which they haven't done a very good job of working on the immersiveness of the spaces. So I think they've succeeded in many, many respects here at S.E.A Aquarium at Sentosa in Singapore. And so, as you might expect in any immersive aquarium, you get, in this case, the 360 treatment in terms of the fish everywhere around it. Pretty impressive. Yeah. Oh, okay. What does it do? Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you, sir. Here's your photo ticket
Okay.
from the exit. You can take a look at the photo.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
The museum continues this way. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I just got my ticket here. I guess I can get an image at the end. My photo number is 002109, in case you're checking at home. Okay, now, so those are the immersive exhibits, it seems to me, and now we're entering the more traditional spaces. Reminds me a little bit of the S.E.A Aquarium that I visited as a kid, as you can see. There is some stuff happening below us, actually. Kind of cool. Check this out. You could see some rays down there and sharks, I'm not sure. It's kind of neat. Below us, yeah. Another extensive aquarium here, the 360 effect that we're getting, right? Yep. Now, in terms of offering some criticism of some of the spaces, which I think is important to do, I'll mention this later, but I did find some distractions along the journey. And these are examples of henna tattoo stands and ice cream shops and so forth. And I'm not trying to be a snob here and suggest that a themed or immersive space cannot use these elements, but I wish they were better integrated into the nature of the story being told. You could call these theme or mood breakers in some respects in terms of how these parts of the overall spatial experience break down. Let me also mention that the first part of the journey before the S.E.A Aquarium is this experiential maritime museum. And you can see a cutout here of a fairly dramatic structure of a ship. But I felt that overall, the narrative, the theming, some of the interactive possibilities weren't developed fully enough as they could have been. And this is an example of one of the displays from the Maritime Museum it's very static. To me, it feels just matter of fact. And I think one of my main criticisms about this part of the museum is that it functions emotionally, I think, as somewhat of a letdown just prior to the guests seeing these amazing, amazing sea creatures in these wonderful aquarium spaces. Now, I did enjoy some of the displays that I noted, and in particular, I thought this one coming up here, this exhibition or interactive board on curry, was somewhat interesting. But ultimately, when you see images like this next one, these criticisms, I would say, could be rather mute. In fact, as I'll show you some more of the interactivity available to the guest in this space of the S.E.A. Aquarium, I think you see that they have done a really marvelous job in terms of creating the story of sea life. And I think one of the things you can see here that they've done fairly effectively, actually I haven't been to the Atlanta Aquarium, and I heard it's quite impressive in this respect, but the sense of immersion they're giving you by just enveloping you within the space, as you can see just panning down here, this goes on, this particular tank here with the rays and the different fishes goes on for a long, long time. Yep. So it gives you maybe a sense of how they're using this entire space to give you, and really what you could see is up close and personal. You could reach out literally and touch the fish here. I don't know if they interact, but yeah, you certainly could do that. Hello, fish. Hey there. So, yeah. Yeah, so behind me, and what I presume to be nearing the end of the S.E.A. Aquarium, you can see what I guess I would only call the money shot in film, right? And this is the idea of the culmination of the experiences. So in a sense, you get full immersion here. I would estimate this is close to 50 feet long and 20 feet high. And in addition, you know, they sort of have a theater seating area at the bottom, which I think is quite intriguing. And then they also have a children's play area, and then behind me they have some information for kids about, you know, how corals reproduce and other things, and there's games for kids to play. So they've created, in a sense, a public space where they're using sea life as living theater, as improvisational theater. So pretty amazing, I would say, from the immersiveness that you can perhaps tell from the video. So one of the things I should offer as a bit of a criticism, as you can see here, is, you know, amazing displays of the fish and the sea life, but in this case you have very static signage. You do have some technology used along this wall, certainly, but I don't know. I'm just thinking perhaps they could have done a little more with those elements. Up here we have a pretty cool use of color, though, so we could check some of this out. Okay, so I just exited the S.E.A. Aquarium, and I was wandering around downstairs here trying to see the rest of what they call the Experiential Maritime Museum. And I kept thinking of the famous Vasa Museum, which, you know, is the maritime museum of excellence when I think of such museums. And being interrupted by narration here. But what I would say about the S.E.A. Aquarium, from what you saw from some of my videos there that I featured, is that it does achieve some remarkable things. The scale of the displays, the fact that you can see so many sea creatures in their glory, the way that they use color, I think, is also quite significant in terms of just being able to get people so excited about sea life. To the detriment, I felt that throughout the space they did have you know, cotton candy and henna tattoos and stuff for kids, and I realize sometimes that could be part of having to make money for your endeavors, but I just thought that was actually distracting. But the educational content, I think, was very good, and I think you know, just being able to marvel, particularly the highlight, not unlike the Monterey Bay Aquarium, were the jellies, and jellies are always fascinating in their own colorful and improvisational sense, and so I think in that way the museum achieves quite a bit. And as we always end with the gift shop, exit through the gift shop, here we are. So I hope you enjoyed this video feature, and we'll come back for additional video features of the Immersive Worlds Handbook.